Good afternoon. I'm Joel Franklin. I hope everyone had a great summer, and welcome back to the JLG webcast series. Today's webcast is Cardinals, War, and an Accordian. From favorite authors like Kate DiCamillo and Kevin Hankes to a heartwarming story about two cardinals, JLG's fall selections are just right for your elementary readers. Today, we welcome Betty Ann Wells to our webcast series. Betty Ann is one of our new book talkers and a membership renewal representative at Junior Library Guild. She and Deborah Ford have some great books to talk about for grades pre-K to 6. And please join the conversation on Twitter. You can tweet us at JR Library Guild and use the hashtag JLGWebcasts. If you have any questions or comments, you can send those in at any time via the red Q&A box. So, Cardinals, War, and an Accordian. That's quite a word combination. Maybe Betty Ann, can you shed some light on this? Welcome to the program, Betty Ann.
Thanks, Joel. And I've got the Cardinals for sure. Here at JLG, we love our first book, Red and Lulu. It is one of our favorite authors and illustrators, Matt Tavares, and it is a beautiful illustrated story that will become a Christmas classic for you to read in the near future. I wanted to let you know that Red and Lulu is a pair of cardinals who love their evergreen tree. They keep warm in the winter and shaded in the summer. And one day the unthinkable happens and the tree is taken away with Lulu in the tree. I know. But you know what? Red says he's going to find her. And he does.
Oh, and he does.
Because Christmas time is the season of miracles.
Oh.
And this story will definitely become a Christmas classic. And one of the things that we have on our light binders is book trailers. And this is one of the books that we have our book trailer for. I hope you get to see Red and Lulu, and please read it. It's just awesome. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. And I got all teary, and it's not even a blue cover.
Yeah, I know. The blue covers are awesome. It should be.
Yep. Yay. Thanks, Betty Ann. Well, let's talk about another book. I'm going to read to you because maybe you haven't had a story today. This is from Daniel Kolstar, The Relic War by Stel Pavlo. Chapter 1, The Disappeared. There is a burn mark where Daniel Kolstar used to sleep. They took him in the middle of the night. They came while he slept, pulled him from his bed, and only fired their weapons when he put up a fight. The other children heard him screaming, heard the flap of wings retreat into the night, and then nothing. Silence. He was gone.
Where'd he go?
You'll have to read the book.
Oh, okay.
So this is a story, science fiction, and there's so little science fiction for this age group. So that's like very science-y because this one is involving true, pure sciences, not just, magic or things like that. And so this is a story about Daniel Kolstar, who is one of a gajillion orphan children mining on a planet where it's just terrible. It's just really, it's a place you just don't want to be. And he starts on a journey to find out where he came from, who is he, and in the meantime, he finds this relic while they're mining that starts a war.
Ooh.
So this is the first book in the series, so you want to jump in there and get
time to
that.
Get it then, if it's the first book.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And it's funny.
Oh, good.
It's funny. It's a debut. So I think you'll like it.
Is it easy to understand with the science-y stuff?
It absolutely is.
Great.
It is. So I was afraid. I was afraid when I started to read it, but it just sucks you right in on the front page, and
that's the kind of book I like.
Yeah, it's a great book.
All right.
They'll like it. So tell us about our next book.
Well, William's Winter's Nap is one of the books out of one of our new elementary categories, Read Aloud.
I bet it's a good read aloud.
Oh, my gosh, Deb. Just wait. Listen to this.
Oh, yay, she's going to read.
In a house on a hill that's tall and steep, there's a boy named William who's ready to sleep. He drinks his cocoa, climbs in bed, he fluffs the pillow beneath his head, then burrows down for a long night's nap, but wakes to the sound of tap, tap, tap. Excuse me, please, but I've lost my way. I'm cold and tired. May I please stay? Will says, yes, I'll scooch a bit. There's room for two. I'm sure we'll fit. The two climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, good night, good night. It's quiet, just the clock's tick-tock. But wait, what's that? And knock, knock, knock. Oh, what a lovely, cozy place. Could you spare a smidge of space? Will says, yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for three. I'm sure we'll fit. The three climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, good night, good night. It's peaceful in the sleepy room until, that is, boom, boom, boom. My toes are numb. My tail is too. Okay if I come in with you? Will says, yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for four. I'm sure we'll fit. The four climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, good night, good night. Ping, ping, ping. Could that be rain? No, pebbles on the window pane. May I come in? I need some rest. I promise I'll have my perfect guess. Will says, yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for five. I'm sure we'll fit.
Oh, don't tell the end.
You don't want to know? Because I think they end up with more.
More?
More. You'll have to read it to see, Deb.
Cool. And so it's like the mitten, but it's not.
Yes, and the illustrations are awesome. They're very warming.
Aw. And so it's probably a story that they would read not only just aloud, but kids will probably start. Can't you just hear them chiming in?
Oh, yeah, because of the rhyming and the noises, the singing, and it's definitely a read aloud for children, and that's what we're shooting for, is for kids to want to enjoy and read that book over and over and over.
Awesome. Well, here's a character they like to know about. This is a biography of our beloved Frida Kahlo. This is also a new category for us. We're full of new categories. This one is Spanish elementary, so this is upper elementary. So this Frida book is in Spanish, and it is for grades 3 to 5. Here's what it looks like on the inside. So you can see it has a little bit smaller text and great illustrations. And so we learn a little bit more about Frida. It's a story of a little girl named Frida who grew up to be one of the most famous painters of all time. Frida was special. This is also the story of 2 monkeys, a parrot, 3 dogs, 2 turkeys, an eagle, a black cat, and a fawn. Who knew she had all those pets? So this is a story that, we all have pets. Everybody has a pet story. And those of you who work with elementary school, you know that if you say, do you have a pet? What happens?
Everybody wants to talk about their pet.
Everybody wants to talk about their pet. So what you might do is you introduce this, because lots of elementary kids also love to draw. So if you ask, who likes to draw? The same thing will happen. So instead, tell them to turn to their neighbor and tell them what they like to draw, or tell a pet story. And then everybody gets to tell their story, and it doesn't take 30 minutes to read your book. You could actually get to the book. And so here is a category that, especially those of you who are needing Spanish books, for those kids that you can read to them, they can read on their own, that you'll want to share with those who listen.
I love the color in this book. I think the color was amazing.
And that's one thing she was good at, too.
Right, exactly.
And I think kids will like to see her, in the bed when she couldn't get up. And that's when she started all that painting.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well, since Frida had a pet eagle, I want to talk a little bit about beauty. This book is a true story about a 4-year-old eagle who was shot in the face, and she lost her beak, Deb.
Oh.
So she couldn't preen her feathers. She couldn't tear her food to eat. And her tongue swelled up, and she couldn't drink. But luckily, she was found by a wilderness center, and they took her in and healed her wounds, and an engineer heard of her story and came in and made her a prosthetic beak.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing.
And you know what?
What?
I got to hold that beak in my hand.
You got to hold the beak?
I did. It was awesome.
Awesome.
It was awesome. But
yeah, I heard that if you make a donation towards rescuing raptors, that they will make you will get a 3D beak like that. So.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, you can check. There's a teacher's guide. And so if you check the teacher's guide, there's a link in there. It'll take you right to that piece where you can, maybe your school or your library could help support
that would be wonderful.
the saving of animals like that.
And I know the photography in this book is beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's a good read because you'll cry. I did, and it's not even a blue cover.
It does have blue on the cover, though.
Well, yeah,
it
water.
does. The blue of the water in the mountains, because she was in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, I just came from Alaska, and the eagles are everywhere. It's like cardinals in New York. There are so many.
Aren't they majestic?
Eagles. They are amazing. They're amazing. And so this true nonfiction story is great to share with your little ones. And your old ones will probably want to read it too.
Yep.
Because it's amazing. And we put a video also about beauty in the
on our live binder?
In the live binder.
Oh, okay.
Now here's another story you might not know. Is this me? It's me. So Dazzle Ships, so many books, and Who's Is Which. Dazzle Ships is another one of those stories, and I'm always telling people when I'm traveling, I know so many things, and they all came from children's books. So here's a story from World War I, where all these battleships were being shot down by the U-boats, and they were desperate. They literally were desperate. We don't know what to do. We've got to save lives. We've got to win this war. We don't know what to do. And somebody got this idea of painting different patterns on the ships that would reflect in the water and confuse the gunmen.
Oh.
And so they made these models up. Even women helped with the war effort, and they painted these ships, and less boats were attacked. It was amazing.
Maybe this is where
this is what it looks like.
Came out from.
The what?
Abstract art.
It definitely is abstract art for sure. And so in the book you'll see these gorgeous, gorgeous illustrations of the boats themselves and the way they reflected into the sea. And then, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da!
That's a real boat, Deb.
Here's one of the real boats look like.
My dad's a sailor. It's a ship, Deb.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. I knew that too. My dad was too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Navy people, we thank you for your service on the ships.
Yes.
So you can even do a Google search on Dazzle Ships, and you will just see so many different patterns and different. And it's a debut illustrator too. So I hope things go well.
I do too.
Yep. It's about the time that we start getting our sweaters out.
I know. I love fall. It's my favorite time of year. It smells wonderful outside. It looks wonderful outside. And we have In the Middle of Fall, which is coming out soon. It is very popular with a husband and wife team, and this is Kevin Hankus' wife. Wrote and illustrated this book. Quick story about fall and the different things that happen in fall. And one of the nicest things that I love, love, love about fall are the colors. The oranges, the yellows, the reds. And Deb, this book is the pictures are almost 3D. They almost just burst and come alive.
They do.
And I just love it. And I think we need more books about the seasons and stuff. And I know that we have a book coming out by April Sayer.
We do.
Yeah, in October.
Yep.
And she had The Best of Snow.
She did.
And Raindrops Roll.
She did. She is a nature girl, that April.
The photography's awesome.
She's so good at that.
Yeah, I love that. That was gorgeous.
So you'll see those same colors in Full of Fall by April Sayer that you see in Kevin's book.
Right. Yeah.
In the middle of fall.
And reds and yellows.
Mm-hmm.
We got to enjoy fall while it's here. It don't last very long.
It does not.
Mm-mm.
Not where we live. We're in Ohio, by the way. Okay, so you see this next book. We've got the author's name right there on the front, Trickiest, and you see in big letters, Steve Jenkins. So I don't need to say anything. We could just go next, because we're all going to get the book by Steve Jenkins because he's so smart, and we learned so many amazing things. I still tell people about, I forget which book it was, but a clam has 111 eyes. What does he even need 111 eyes for? He's got no legs. He can't go anywhere if he saw something. I have no idea. Oh, I should mention about the plus, because many of our categories are plus now, and this is the time plus happens. So plus used to be more of the same, and now it literally means more of the same. So if you have a plus category here at Junior Library Guild, then in September and October, you get an extra book for that category. So you get, instead of getting one book for every month, there are 2 months where you get 2 books. So you get 14 books in that category.
And they are separate titles.
They are. And just when you need them most, when everybody's checking out a book for back to school.
Yep.
So here is Steve Jenkins' some inside spreads from his new book. So you'll see infographics. He's using a lot of that now. Here is an example of this living seaweed. This is a sea dragon, and he literally looks like a piece of seaweed. I've seen that same little creature at the La Jolla Aquarium in California. And it's also great for little kids, because they give you this little box, and they show you, here's where you can find them, here's how big they get, here's what they eat, the habitat, and all those kind of things. So you could even use it for research for young children as you're
that's a neat idea.
Launching them into what we do.
Oh, my goodness, Deb. Here is another Elephant and Piggy-like reading book that Mo Williams has endorsed.
Yay!
The Good for Nothing button has Yellowbird, and he has his button, and he says the button does nothing, and Redbird and Bluebird thinks it's got to do something. So everybody takes a turn at pushing the button, and it really doesn't do nothing. But Redbird, it makes her sad because it doesn't do nothing. But that makes you do something, so that's not nothing. And Bluebird, it scared him, so that's not nothing. It scared him, so that's something.
That's something.
Yeah, so these birds keep pushing the button to answer the question, can something that's nothing be something? And they find out. And it's really a cute book. I loved it.
It's a cute book. And it's great for kids who are learning to read.
Yes, exactly.
Got some of that same repetition.
Yep.
And then it's got a sneak peek of our favorite guys on the front and back. And weren't you telling me you went shopping, Betty Ann?
I did, and I found Penguin. Or not Penguin, Pigeon.
Pigeon.
Penguin.
Yeah, Pigeon. And where did you find Pigeon?
Kohl's.
Let's just do a Kohl's commercial.
Okay.
In case you don't know, you can go to Kohl's, and for $5, because that's the Kohl's Care program that they have every year, you can buy Pigeon.
There was Elephant,
Piggy, the little duck that wants a cookie, and they're all $5.
Mm-hmm.
Nice,
and
big,
it all goes towards
huggable size.
Yes, and they are very nice. Yeah, they're very nice. Beautiful. I loved it.
Yep. So, good for nothing button. So, not everything is good for nothing. On a whole other spectrum. Last year we introduced the character build in elementary category, and this is a picture biography about a man in India whose name was Manji, and he literally moved not the whole mountain, but part of the mountain. It's written by Nancy Chernin and illustrated by Danny Popovici. And it tells the story of a man who was sad. Every day, Manji paused at the top of a mountain to catch his breath and gaze at the 2 villages, because he lived in a place where on one side of the mountain they had everything, and on the other side of the mountain they had to walk 40 miles to school. Now, I know plenty of kids that don't even want to walk to the corner. 40 miles to school. Adults had to go that same long distance to shop at the market or go to the hospital or anything. And so he stood on that mountain one day and he thought, well, that's just not right. And on the way back, he tried to think of an answer. And when he got there, he thought, if only the 2 villages were closer, if only the road between them were easier, if only there were a way to move the mountain. Frustrated, he picked up a stone and he threw it down. Crack! He saw a sprinkle of powder. He knelt down and felt it between his fingers. That was it. Manji hurried to his hut and searched for something to trade. He had nothing anyone would want except 3 goats. He gently looped ropes around their necks and searched until he found someone who would trade a worn hammer and a chisel for them. So with that hammer and chisel, he began to chip away at that mountain. And so for 22 years, from 1960 to 1982, he made a hole that was 360 feet long, 30 feet high, and 25 feet wide, pretty much by himself.
Nobody would help him.
I got to do it. That was my first thought, is why didn't anybody help him? He's trying to help everybody. And I did a little digging, and what I learned is that it started as a labor of love for his wife. She needed medical care, and it was hard for him to get her there. And so that's where that desire came from. So first his desire was to help his wife, and then he decided to do it for his village. And as you read in the story, you'll see that people were, Dirty was crazy for a while. And then they started helping him. They left him food, and sometimes he would go, and the hole would be bigger. So it was kind of, I wonder if it wasn't just a pride thing. He wants to do this by himself. And also I learned that he was of a class that was expected to have less.
Okay.
Less food, worse jobs, all that kind of, he was at the bottom of the class in his culture, and so maybe it was part of that. I'm not really sure. But I love the whole thought of it because it tells to us, what mountain do you have? What mountain is near you? What mountain can you help move? And then it tells the story of some kids who have started things because they wanted to move their mountain. How many kids are walking around in the playground or will walk on the playground or at lunch and they have nobody to sit with? So some kids made an app called Sit With Us. And so they will, you could go there and say, I need somebody to sit with, and they will find you somebody to sit with. And there's another bench. I've heard of programs where there's a bench where nobody sits alone. And if you see somebody sitting on that bench, you go over there and you sit with them so kids aren't alone. I love that.
That's wonderful.
That whole kindness thing.
Yeah, because there's so much less and less these days of that, and I love that we brought this category out for the character building for the students. And any teacher we talk to, librarian, they love the thought of it.
So here he is standing on the mountain, and here he is still working away.
At night.
Even in the night.
He probably went from dusk till dawn.
He did.
Well, Deb, you know what? I love the characters of Deca-Woo Drive, and we have a 4th volume. It is called Eugenia Lincoln and the Unexpected Package. And I first met Eugenia when I read about Baby Lincoln, her sister, taking a trip on Where You Going, Baby Lincoln.
I love that.
I did too.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, I love it. And you know what? Baby Lincoln she's so happy, she's so cheerful, she just loves life in general. And Eugenia is her older sister, and she's total opposite. She doesn't think anybody should be happy. She don't think anybody should do any whoop-de-whoops or frivolities. And there's no time for that. So one day there's a delivery to the door, and it's for Eugenia. And there's this big, huge package, and she grumbles. I didn't order anything. And there's an accordion in the box. This big, huge accordion. And she tries, like, this can't be for me. It can't be for me. The delivery man won't take it back because it was addressed to her. She takes it to the post office. They won't take it back. It was addressed to her. Her sister, Baby Lincoln, brings in someone to teach her how to play. And we got to find out if Eugenia's going to play the thing, get rid of the thing, which is the accordion, or is she going to find some joy out of it?
Ah.
So we will find out.
Fun. And if we only had an accordion.
I know. You know, those things are so heavy. They're old. They're old. They've been around for
beautiful
many
things.
Yeah, they
and I don't know,
music.
Kate, if Kate's listening. I did not buy one of these. I told her last summer, every time she writes something, she costs me money. And she said, "What? What do you mean? Thanks for buying my books." And I said, "You know, I don't have to pay. They just come to me." And she said, "Oh yeah." And she said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, I have a Winn-Dixie chip clip. I have a concrete squirrel. Last year I bought a baton to teach my granddaughter, who's not even 2 yet, to play the baton. So, but I did not buy an accordion.
Yet.
Yet. But your independent readers will love that. It's great for Steam. Oh, and I put a Wonderopolis lesson in the live binder about how to play the accordion.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'll be
so.
There, see, you've already got it there. Now you just got to get your accordion.
I do. Maybe I'll just get me an accordion soundtrack. And our last but not least book, we have Owl, Bat, Bat, Owl. Owl, Bat, Bat, Owl is actually a wordless book. And it's a very poignant story for me right now because I just moved. I'm moving this week, and so I'm the new person on the block. And that's what happens in this story. There's an owl family, and they live on this branch. And one night, they get company, and it's a bat family. Mm-hmm. And there is some, oh, you people are different from us, and I don't know. And so scoot, scoot, scoot down the branch. But you know how little ones are. They have no fear.
Right.
They don't see differences. And the littlest owl is starting to make hello to the little bat owl, to the little bat who's just come in, and they're trying to connect, and both moms are trying to separate the two. But then all of a sudden this big windstorm comes, whoosh, and it blows everybody off the branch, and everybody's fallen, and nobody's had a chance to really, it happens so fast they can't collect themselves and figure out what to do. And so kind of just like what's happening in Houston,
oh, wow,
people are helping each other, whether they would normally help them or not.
Yep.
And kindness is ruling, and that's what Owl, Bat, Bat, Owl is trying to share it with us, that just because somebody's different from you doesn't mean you shouldn't help them.
Exactly.
You can live right next door or even on the same branch.
And the thing about that, Deb, is
yes.
You get the gist of the story, and there's not even a single word in that book.
Exactly. And for all our wordless books, we always put little tips on how to do a wordless book. So those are some of the books that you'll find coming in your Yay, It's Here box this fall. Lots more. Oh, there's our little owls and our little bats.
Okay, Deb, and in addition to selecting great books, remember we also are creating sources to help you use these books. You'll find resources for today's and other selections in our new JLG BTG Fall 2017 Live Binders.
And you'll find the live binders at bit.ly/JLG Live Binders. And remember to look on the book detail pages for a link to the live binder resources, so you'll find everything that you need on our website. Be sure to download the certificate of attendance in the certificate folder today if you need credit. So if you're watching right now, now's a good time to do it.
And remember that Junior Library Guild members receive a discount on subscriptions to the Hornbook and School Library Journal. Be sure to subscribe today. Keep up with the hottest trends and best books with your very own subscription.
Are you ready to create some buzz for your book club this year? Then join teacher librarian Renee Newry as she shares tips and tricks. Oh, Kaylee's going to have fun with that because Kaylee will co-host it, the Lively Book Club Experience. Join us next week. That's next Thursday, September 7th at 3 o'clock for Book Club Tips and Tricks, Losers, Legos, and Little Bugs, featuring new releases from JLG's Fall 2017 selections, and with kid-friendly topics ranging from losers, Legos, and little bugs. You'll get ideas to inspire your best book club program yet. It's appropriate for school and public librarians and educators grades 3 to 12. So tell your friends. Can't make the date? Register anyway. A link to the video archive will be sent to you after the event.
Also, check out our website after the webcast for the recap blog post. You'll find a list of today's 12 books. Don't miss these links to their book detail pages and plenty of other resources. And once again, now is a good time to click on the certificate folder and print out your certificate of attendance. Thanks again to our co-host Betty Ann Wells for spending some time with us. If you're looking for a book talker, JLG has a team that is ready to visit you, so contact your account rep for more information. Thanks to you, our listeners, for supporting these authors and illustrators with your time. And ask your account rep all about the books and categories if you have any questions at all. Also wanted to mention, after the webcast, you'll receive a short survey. Thanks for making the time to give us some feedback. Appreciate that always. Tomorrow, you'll receive an automatic email regarding today's webcast. If you follow the link, you can watch the archived webinar and print out your certificate of attendance after 10 minutes of viewing. So, until next time, thanks again for joining us. Happy reading.